All right, guys, welcome back to another live where I take your questions on real estate. Anything you want to ask, you're welcome to ask. If you've sent in questions before, we'll generally take them up and we'll answer. Sometimes I'll pick up a topic that I think might be relevant for a lot of investors coming into the market as well. Today, I'm going to be talking about what are some of the things that you should be doing when you're actually investing. Let me just quickly say hello to everybody who's over here, and I see your names: Azhar, Falahat, Gio Abdullah, Rahmsuri, Shaktib, Wajahat, Omar, Explore, Misbah. And sometimes you guys have tough names to pronounce. Formatek, Pratik, Mias, Biz, I'll still try to, Biz Dubai, BHK, something like that. Pratik. Okay, guys, listen. Any questions you guys have, please ask. I'm more than happy to answer, explore dreams, and so on and so forth. Guys, thank you very much for being on this live. We're live both on YouTube and on Instagram. So if you want to ask any question, then you can ask. Sharik Ansari, hi on YouTube. You changed your name from MSA, so you're no longer the Muslim Student Association. You are Sharik Ansari. Okay, good. I remember you from last time. Thank you very much for being again here on this live. Guys, can we quickly, in a very casual way, do a quick checklist, very few checklists, like 5-point checklist on some of the things that if you're investing in the Dubai market on any project, whether it's off plan or ready, some things that you as an investor should do. And then if you're a new realtor, or if you're a realtor, then maybe you tick these boxes as well. That are you doing this for your clients who are coming in? And then in the middle, if you guys have questions, please ask, and I'll be more than happy to answer. Okay, check this out. One of the things from a regulation perspective, Bismillah, Haris Said, how to survive in such a saturated market of brokers and products. What's the secret sauce? Bismillah Rahman Rahim. I will answer that, okay? Haris, hang on to your question. I'm going to be coming to this. Let's. One of the things, Haris, you need to do is grow expertise and knowledge, okay? So stay tuned and listen to what I'm saying, okay? And obviously, if you want to buy, sell properties, there's always a link over there. You can always WhatsApp us, reach us, fill up a form, and we can help you, okay? From a dues perspective, listen, guys, here's the thing, man. One of the things that you should do when you're buying a property in the Dubai market, if you are purchasing a property from an off-plan market or a developer that's under construction, one of the things you want to do is you want to make sure that they are escrow compliant. Now, a lot of times they are not escrow compliant, okay? A lot of developers that are launching products or projects are not escrow compliant. Escrow compliance, essentially speaking, means that any money that you pay don't go into the developer's personal expense account or personal account, whereby they can choose to use it as per their desire. No, an escrow account is an account. This was a law that was introduced, I think, in 2007 and then implemented then. And it is followed by a lot of the major developers that your money goes into an account that is related only to that project. If it's not related to the project, and it's just given to the developer, they can kind of use it for anything that they might want to do, right? So for your protection, your safety, for everybody's purpose, for everybody's safety, the government introduced the escrow compliance law, which means that the developer should take money into the escrow account. There are some exceptions, okay? Some exceptions apply. Exceptions apply, but you must understand those exceptions. Like sometimes the developer is really, really big. They've got permission from the Dubai Land Department to collect expressions of interest, and that permission is very limited. But you must ask a little bit further than just to send money away to the Dubai to the brokers, right? Okay, that's number one. Number two, if you're buying on the secondary market, okay, then how do you confirm that a transaction is going to be okay and the documents are verified and kosher? Look, if you're buying from the secondary market, then the owner should have something called a title deed, okay? Okay, so let me just finish the escrow account part first. The way to check if there is an escrow account is to go to something called the REST app, the Dubai REST app. When you go to the Dubai REST app, you're going to be able to see in the Dubai REST app very clearly what is the status of the project, what's the escrow account, the bank details, so on and so forth. When you're looking to buy on the secondary market from somebody, then one of the things that you should do is you have to check the title deed. You have to check the documents. And how do you do that? Again, there's a QR code, okay? All right, Anu, I'm talking about the QR code. This is a different QR code, but there's a QR code on the title deed, okay? You take your Dubai REST app, it's REST, just go to the REST app, and I think the service is called verifying title deed. You can open your camera, or there's a service, and then you can scan the QR code, and boom, your QR code allows you if the owner is verified and he's still the owner or not. Okay, so this is one. But now let me take some questions over here. Okay. So Haris, you're asking me, how do you survive in such a saturated market of brokers and products? What's the secret sauce? Okay. So Haris, look, here's the deal. There's 3 parts that you should try to champion. Okay. One is your own life. One is knowledge and expertise about real estate. And the second is the business part. Okay. You've got to learn all these 3 parts when you want to succeed at anything, right? So let's just say, like, real estate and agents is not the only place that is super saturated, right? For example, I'll give you an example. If I went to India, like, the land of cricket. Cricket is the most popular game in India. I think it is, right? No Indians in the room, so they're not confirming. They're Sri Lankans. You're Indian. Oh, sorry. Yeah, one of the guys is Indian. I forgot. Now I start thinking that he's Sri Lankan. Sorry, Abhijit. No insult, no offense. But India is the game, right? Everybody wants to play cricket, and, the goal could be to become a superstar, right? So let's say you've got that goal to become a superstar. Why did you enter into real estate? Obviously, you want to make money, right? If you're one of those people who's, God forbid, we used to have an accountant in one of the companies 10 years ago, okay? We overheard it one time. He was standing there, and that company had 70 agents, and he was just standing there. He was talking to somebody in Hindi, and I'll translate it in English, but I think he gave like a few expletive words, some swear words, and he said like, this, and the swear words. People who come to Dubai cannot find any other job, become an agent, So and I hope you're not. If you're one of those people who couldn't find anything and said, I'll just become an agent, right? Get a visa. Maybe the work is easy and I can make money. Then you're in for some suffering. Then you shouldn't be an agent, okay? But since you're here on my podcast and asking a question, then for sure you're not one of those people, right? For sure you want to develop, okay? So now if you want to develop, look at that example of that cricketer, okay? If he wants to break through, if not in the Indian national team, at least at the IPL level, right? Indian Premier League level, or at the state level, what does he have to do? Think about it. He has to fix his life, and he has to learn knowledge about cricket and practice, okay? How does he fix his life? Do you think that this cricketer can go late nights? No. So, as a real estate agent, no Netflix at night, okay? A lot of us are addicted to Netflix, okay? So you've got to sleep early, wake up early, right, Anu? You want to do well, right, Ghassan? Sleep early. Okay, half this room, I don't know what time we sleep, but But it's the truth. It's the truth, right? You want to be a professional cricket player? Can you sleep late and show up to a match at morning? No. So you've got to start fixing your life first. So look around you. If you've got negative friends, if you've got friends who are like, asking you, hey, let's go to Ras Al Khaimah, and it's like 11 p.m. and you're like, yeah, let's jump in the car and let's go. And you come back at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. They're not going to work. Yes or no? Yes or no, right? Okay. Most of my team, mashallah, they're like agreeing with me. Like, I feel like I'm talking to really experienced people in the room, mashallah, here. So if you fix your life, cut out your negative friends, sleep early, eat healthy. That's one part. Read good books, get motivated, right? So you're here, you're like, have good habits, right? And it's part of disciplining yourself. Once you get disciplined there, you will at the same time keep learning knowledge about Dubai real estate, okay? And then keep practicing real estate, keep doing. You'll see, you will start differentiating yourself away from the pack. Because what I recognize where you are right now, I'm not going to tell you about building your brand. Okay? Building your brand is going to be getting your Instagram account and, posting regularly comes next. First, fix these 3 areas. Fix your life, read good books, get motivated, learn some sales skills. Okay, I've got a question over here. I'm going to answer this. 2, learn about real estate. 3, keep practicing, keep going, right? And identify where you're weak. And if you're weak anywhere, work on that area. Okay, so I've got a question from Sharik on YouTube. Guys, if you got questions, don't feel bad if I don't come to them instantly. Ask me again if I miss them, but I will answer your question. Okay, but as I get questions coming out, I want to answer. Okay, Sharik, assalamu alaikum. Okay, so he's got a question. I have witnessed realtors taking more than 2% unofficially. Okay, they tie up with seller that whatever they sell on top of the target price is theirs, plus the 2% from the buyer. How to stop that, as it hurts? It hurts the market. This was the common practice in Pakistan, and now these new realtors are doing it here. Was it always like this? Is it morally correct? Okay, so let me explain something to you. I understand what your point is, that they have tied up with the seller and they might be actually making a larger percentage from the seller as well. So it could be 2%, it could be 3%, 4%, 5%, 6%, 10%. Look, the reality of the situation is, as it's a commercial transaction, you've got to remember this. It's a commercial transaction. In a commercial transaction, if terms, fees, conditions are clear to all parties, then it's fair. If terms, fees, conditions are hidden, then I feel, this is my personal opinion, so I don't want to comment on the morally part, because of course, I don't know, I don't want to comment on the moral part because I don't want to have my word as the final word on it, because I'm going to say my opinion. Then I feel it's not correct. Then I feel that it's imbalanced. Okay, I've had situations where we had a seller who we worked with, and we had we had it in writing from them that they're going to pay us 2% or 3%. It could be that the property is difficult. It could be that the work is a lot. It could be X number of things that we have to do for them. And we might have an agreement with them that they're going to be paying 2%, 3%, 4%, whatever the rate might be. Now, one of the reasons that we ask the seller to make sure that they would pay us is so that when we go to the market, we work with as open as possible with all the agents. Because a lot of agents, what they do is that if they take your property on with a no commission fee, they will try to avoid working with other agents. And that's, again, unethical, because their work is not to avoid working with other agents. Their job is to get you the best price and the best offer. That's their job, right? So essentially speaking, that's why they ask the seller, give us a 2% fee, so that when we go to the market, we will allow all the brokers to say, hey, if you bring a buyer, you can keep the fee. Now, in some certain circumstances, they end up getting a direct buyer. A direct buyer means that they will be able to make a fee from the buyer, and they will be able to make a fee from the seller. What you're saying, and what sometimes happens, is they will ask the seller to drop the price. Okay, they'll ask the seller to drop the price. Let's say you want to sell something for 2 million dirhams. They'll ask him to drop the price to 1.7, and then they'll say, oh, we've got somebody buying at 2 million, but your final price was 1.7, so 300,000 dirhams should come back to us as commission. That's kind of like not good, because you're actually hurting the seller, right? But let's say if they had an agreed percentage term, and they said, look, whatever we sell at, and we'll try to sell you at the best rate, your property at the best rate, but you're going to be paying us 2% or 3% or 4%, whatever that commission or agency fee rate is. And then they go out into the market and try to get them the best rate, right? So they get them the 2 million dirhams, or they get them the 2.5 or the 3 million or 4 million dirhams, and the agreed rate was already set before, then that's okay. But if they maneuver, and I know what you're talking about, some agents do this. The problem is that landlords or sellers are also not smart about this. They will work with multiple agents, and not based off qualifying them, not based on trusting them, not based on how these guys operate. So it's a very small thing. Like, if you find an agent cold calling you and then telling you like, look, we can do this and this and this, but you can understand that he's already fibbing you, he's already lying to you. Like, I expect that this agent is going to go on to actually create problems for you. Unfortunately, there's some sellers who are green behind their ears, so they've only been in one property transaction. Some sellers become too over smart. By over smart, I mean like they feel that they know how the market's being played, and they've done like 4 or 5 transactions, and yet the agent still might be a few steps ahead of them. At the end of the day, you've got to have a trusted advisor or trusted agent who is protecting your interest and is untangling these webs and wires for you. That's what needs to happen, right? So if, for instance, I've had a situation where we were trying to sell a property, and the other gentleman who was the representative of the buyer came and said, look, I'll sell this property, but this is the commission I want. Like, oh, I don't know, it was 5% or 6%, and they had a buyer. Now, as long as because we and my team was involved, we could untangle this web that he was trying around and explain to the seller, like, look, this is the situation. We're going to get a higher sale price, but this is the commission structure that the other agent wants. So we've got to structure a deal that's fair. We've got to structure a deal that safeguards the seller's interest. If that seller wanted or tried to deal with this agent themselves, they wouldn't be able to. It's just would be too difficult. Okay, Sharik, you had a follow-up. Okay. Due to the situation, a lot of seller and buyers are looking to avoid having agents in between and asking for direct from buyer or seller. For example, seller is looking for 1 million. They say that the property is 1.5, and seller is not. Seller is not reducing the price. Look, it varies. Sometimes this is the case. Like, the seller might, like, if you say, for example, seller is looking for 1 million and they say that the property is 1.05. Actually, if you said 1.05, you meant 5,000, but I think you mean 50,000, and the seller is not reducing the price. Maybe that's the case. Like, it's possibly the case that the seller is looking for 1.50, and it is also possibly the case that this agent or this advisor has been working with this seller for the last n number of years, and the seller trusts this agent to carry out this transaction. So if you want in on this transaction, you might not be able to do anything else but to go through this agent. But what you can do is try to negotiate. Now, see, this is the thing, Sharik. You don't have an agent representing you, so you're not getting the full story. End of story. Okay, it's kind of like this. Let's say if I was representing, okay, football players, and I was an agent for football players, okay? If you, as the average Joe, came up to me and asked me how much my football player, who's, let's say, plays in the English Premier League and for his national country, makes on the endorsements, and Nike helps him buy, he endorses Nike, and maybe he's got Emirates Airlines t-shirt and all of that. If you, as the average Joe at a party, or if you wanted to, endorse him as well and asked me, like, how much did the other company pay him to wear his shoes or to go to the country, like, visit China, for instance, I'm not going to tell you. I know your interest, and I know you don't know the game. But an agent's going to be open to another agent, right? Because when we talk to another agent, we're like, look, what's the deal? What's the bottom line? We'll ask them, right? What's the bottom line? And then we'll ask them, like, are you getting 2%? Are you getting 50,000? Are you getting 3%? What's the deal? How long's the property been in the market? How long do you know the seller? Right? So this is part of recon, okay? So recon and due diligence is part of us understanding the whole scenario on that particular property. Sorry, you're not going to be able to do that. It's just, you're not in the trenches. So it's kind of like, if I went to Mumbai first time as a tourist, I just don't know which place to, hang and stuff. Because you're not in the trenches, you're not going to be able to figure that out. You need an advisor who can actually, or an agent who's actually fronting you and getting the recon done for you. That way, it makes life easier, number one. Number two, if the seller is actually absolutely serious, this is where you have to absolutely have to then negotiate the right way, right? put in written offers with checks and so on and so forth, but you have to have somebody trustworthy who's going to represent you in the proper way so that you can actually get that feedback back from the seller, right? Okay, good. So you need to do that properly, okay, guys? Fahd Nasir, hi, if I'm sitting in Pakistan, how can I plan to invest, and what is the minimum investment amount with which I can purchase a property on installments? Okay, Fahd, how can you invest? Okay, there's no problem. We've got a program called the Dubai Wealth Builder Program. You can enter. There is an engagement and a subscription fee when you enter it, but you become with us what we call a VIP client, and then we will take you through all the steps virtually, and then you're able to purchase a property, right? There's a full framework, there's a full step. Like, you know, here's the thing. When you're sitting in Pakistan, the information is overwhelming that's coming out of the Dubai market. Like, you know, projects left, right, center, everywhere. And you're almost all of a sudden thinking like, ooh, what should I be doing? Like, how should I be taking care of this, right? Where should I be investing? And it's confusing, to say the least. Instead of this, what's the best thing to do is have somebody on the ground who would actually do the work for you, right? Step by step. Like, if they can't do the work for you step by step, show you virtually everything, then it's going to be challenging. Sharik, please get in touch with us. We've got some fees that is already advertised on our webpage, but if you qualify to come into the Dubai Wealth Building Program, then just please, there's a number somewhere. Message that number and the team will get in touch with you. Okay. How to survive. So Fahd, okay, so and how can I so basically, how can you purchase a property on installments? Essentially speaking, there are properties available which are under construction sometimes, especially in this time, and they are you can then obviously pay on installments. Okay. There's a question by Fatouche. Do you pay your photographers a cut from the commission? No, because they are employees. They are not agents, so of course not. They would like that. They're all smiling. Zubair, hello. Okay, so guys, hello from everybody. How to change the EMI payment plan if the handover is delayed? Explore dreams. How to change the EMI payment plan if the handover is delayed? To be honest with you, I can't really answer this question properly because I don't understand the scenario. Generally speaking, your EMIs should kick in because they've paid the developer only after the property is completely ready, not before that, right? Haris, thanks for the guide. Okay, you're welcome. Okay, if there's any other questions right now, I'm going to take them on right now. If not, everybody else who's here, Khatija, hi, assalamu alaikum. Right, I don't see any questions that I've missed out. Okay, let's go back to the do's, okay? Aida Shariar, assalamu alaikum. Roy Hots, Faisal Nasir, Paul Newyer, Omar Milk, Deep Happy. Okay, guys, everybody else, please, welcome. If you got any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me. I'll be more than happy to answer. Let's go back to the do's, okay? Let's go back to the do's. So we talked about the escrow account. We talked about verifying the title deed. Let's talk about one of the other things you should be verifying as well. And that is, you should be verifying the floor plans, the views, the size. Do you get a parking? And all of this should be done by email, okay? Especially in off-plan properties. If you're making a purchase and you go to the developer's office, a lot of times what ends up happening is they will give you information verbally, okay? So if you're standing next to the model of the building or you're asking them what is the view from here, what's going to end up happening is they'll be like, oh, the view is this way, the view is that way. You've got to get that in email as a confirmation. Again, have an advisor guiding you for this process so that they can actually lean in on the developer and the sales agents, because for good, bad, or ugly, the market in Dubai is pretty fast and they move pretty fast. So for good, bad, or ugly, the problem is that people are buying fast. So sometimes sales agents at developers' office don't give you the right amount of time as well that you deserve, rightly so, when you're investing in large amounts or in a property, okay? Number 3, if you're buying off plan, go and visit the location. Okay, this is something that you should absolutely do. Like, you should really visit the location to know exactly how that location is going to work out for you. Okay, number 4, check the quality of the developer. Like, check the quality of the developer by visiting other ready properties of theirs that they've already delivered. Okay, now if they've not delivered anything, that's a little bit of a red flag. But if they've already delivered something, then it's good. But then you've got to go and assess the quality of that developer, okay? Because if you don't assess the quality of that developer, it becomes a little bit of a challenge for you, all right? Last but not the least, guys, it's very important for you to actually have an established timeline with the developer, understand when they're going to be delivering, and know that whatever timeline they give you, just add about 3 to 6 months, okay? Generally speaking, especially with tier 2.5 or tier 2 developers. Tier 1 developers pretty fast, okay? Let's answer questions that some people have asked online. So this is a question by Ali. He asks, I have planned to move Dubai in the coming months and work as a real estate advisor. Okay, welcome, bless you. May Allah make things easy for you. Please come. You should have at least 6 to 1 year worth of money to survive, okay? Seriously, if you're coming to the market. I'm from Lahore and I have 10 years of experience in this field. That's good. Kindly advise me about how to start and also advise me a good mentor. Go to a good company that has a good training program. If they can hire you, then they can give you a mentor. If you're coming from Pakistan, like, look, of course, if you survived in the market there, I'm pretty sure that you're, a hustler. So in a good way, right? Hustler is not always bad. Hustler means, okay, getting the things done. So that's good. So you can actually, get things done from that perspective. But from a perspective of finding a good mentor, a good team, go to a company and work with a company that has a good history of training, a good history of guiding you. Unless, otherwise a lot of companies will just, throw you out there in the field and say, go fend for yourself. So that's a little bit of a challenge you've got to overcome. I'm ACCA commerce graduate. Before working in real estate, I worked as visiting lecturer for 8 years. Obviously, that's a good thing, right? We used to say when I was working with Keller Williams, one of the top companies in the world, that what you have in your other parts or other parts of your life, you kind of like carry that forward in a good way to real estate. I believe you can, right? So if you were a lecturer somewhere, let's look at what are the good things that you would have, okay? You would be able to explain things in a very nice way, in a patient way, right? Some of the agents over here in Dubai, if you ask them 2 or 3 questions, there's 2 kinds of agents. The guy who doesn't know, so he's going to look at you and like, I don't know. Or he'll say, I'll go and find out, which is the better answer. And the other guy who's going to get pissed off, like, he'll answer like your question and say like, can you make a decision now and make a purchase, right? The guy who's balanced is going to explain things to the buyer or the seller in a calm, patient way, because you've got to remember that these buyers and these sellers aren't buying properties every single day, while you might be selling properties every single day. So information that's very basic and clear for you is not information that's very basic and clear for them. Like if you're telling them, oh, this apartment building is in JVC, and you're like, yeah, okay, what do you think about JVC? And if you live in JVC and you're like, yeah, who doesn't know JVC? Man, they don't know JVC. Maybe they're international. Maybe they live somewhere else. Maybe they live in Dubai. They've never been to JVC. So you've got to be patient to explain it to them. You've got to have the patience to take them there, right? This is a situation I had the other day. Like a client of us, a VIP client, wanted to invest into a project in JVC. And I had to pretty much hold them back and say, look, hold on. Wait, have you ever been to JVC? You've got to go there and have a look at the place to know how it is. And then they went there, and JVC as a community just didn't gel well with this particular client. I'm not saying it's a bad community. It just didn't work out for them. So coming back to your lecturer point, if you can bring in those strengths that you could explain things to, great. But if you bring in, like, lecturers are respected people. They demand and command, and they get a certain amount of respect. If you bring that to the market, forget that, right? So if you bring an ego or anything, it's not going to work out, right? I would also advise you to work on your sales skills, okay? Somebody asks me, what is the charm of Arjan? Okay, Arjan, I'm going to tell you. While Arjan is next to Dubai Sports City and Jumeirah Village Circle, and maybe we'll make a video on this, okay? What's the charm of Arjan? Okay, very quickly. Arjan is master planned, in my opinion, a little bit better than some of the other communities that are around this. Number one. Number two, Arjan is run by Dubai Holding, which has TCOM under it, and TCOM runs Dubai Internet City, Media City, Internet City, Media City, and Knowledge Village. I think that's what it's called, or Consulting Village now. Okay, and the good thing about this is that it's very, very, very well organized, very well laid out. It's very, very good. So when they are running Arjan, it's the feeling that you get, generally speaking, when you go into Arjan, is it's a good place managed well. Okay, the lines and the streets are more well defined than some of the other communities. I think the same goes for Production City. Okay, otherwise, other than that, it's a regular community in the vicinity of Jumeirah Village Circle, Production City, Studio City, Sports City, Jumeirah Village Triangle. Okay, they're very close. Like, you know, sometimes it's not going to be about the community only, because the community is decent. Oh, it's got a mall as well. Community is decent. Sometimes it's going to be about the developer in that community who you're buying from. Okay, guys. Okay, guys, listen, that's it. I don't see any more questions coming in. If you've got, just please ask me. And send your questions in later on, and I'll be happy to answer, okay? Let's call this a wrap. Anybody else who's got questions, send them again on YouTube. You can always put them in the comment section on Instagram and YouTube, and I will generally take them up and answer them on our Saturday live. We generally go live on Saturdays. All right, guys, look, there's a link below and a number below. If you want to click it, call that number, WhatsApp that number, you would be able to connect. WhatsApp that number, please. You'll be able to connect with us, and we will be able to help you purchase a property, answer any questions that you guys might have. All right, guys, ciao for now. Talk to you soon. Bye.